All right, my next guest is one that you might not expect on this program. She is proof that incremental steps towards total control is an issue that transcends left versus right. She is a, would you say, a wildly liberal Democrat?
Wildly
liberal Democrat. Rosa Koire, she is a member of Democrats Against UN Agenda 21. Why did you get involved in this?
Well, it's almost you can say what isn't Agenda 21, and you're not going to find anything that isn't Agenda 21 these days. And of course, I was a government employee, expert witness for 30 years, and found that people were not able to use their land. And because I'm an appraiser, I was having a difficult time being able to justify valuation for people's property, and doing my research and also suing our city to stop a huge redevelopment project in Santa Rosa, California. Of course, I looked behind all of that and found United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development.
The EPA has just come out with, I don't even know what it was, another one today, like another 34 rules and regulations that are coming out. They're coming out fast and furious, to use the phrase. I'm a guy who owns a farm, and they are telling you, what you can and can't do with your own land, and it's slipping away so fast, and people are not paying attention to it.
I think that people recognize many, many things that are wrong, but they don't realize that they're all connected.
Right.
And of course, if you're out in a rural or suburban area, there's a target on you.
Okay, so make your best case for somebody who's just tuning in and they're like, okay, what? Really? Make your best case.
Well, if you're a liberal, I'm going to talk to you about the National Defense Authorization Act, drones, the USA Patriot Act. United Nations Agenda 21 is about inventory and control, and it's inventorying and controlling everything. So all aspects of your life, education, sustainable development pervades every element of the educational system from pre-kindergarten to postgraduate school. And then, of course, in your land use, you're being restricted in what you can do with your land. It's in law enforcement with community-oriented policing, these consensus meetings that you're going to where you're asked, what's your opinion about our great new plan for the center of your town? These plans are all the same plan all across the United States and the world. So this is not a ground-up program. It is ground up. We're being ground up, but it's not, it's not coming from the people. It's masquerading.
AstroTurf. Yeah, it's AstroTurf. Right.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's so scary about it. And what I've talked to several people on is that they have said, they went to their town council or their city council and they know them. And they're like, Bill, what are you doing, man? Don't you know? And most of them don't know. Occasionally, they'll run into somebody who they thought they knew, and they'll immediately get hammered. Oh, are you a conspiracy freak? Are you saying all this? What do people say? What do you say to somebody who is just saying you're a conspiracy freak?
Well, the problem, of course, is that Agenda 21 is not named Agenda 21. When you're looking at it locally, it's sustainable development, and it may be your center of your town regional plan. It's a regional plan. And so they can easily say that they don't know anything about it because they don't see it called Agenda 21. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy fact. And there's one other thing that's really important is that our elected officials are being supposedly so-called inoculated by planners who have been trained by the American Planning Association to literally inoculate and indoctrinate elected officials so that they simply do not listen to those of us who are speaking the truth about this plan.
What does that mean? What do you mean they're...
Yeah, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
They actually did a 12-week-long communications boot camp for planners. The American Planning Association did. And they wrote the book, Growing Smart Legislative Guidebook, that they were commissioned by the President's Council on Sustainable Development. And so they are really a big player. And so they actually are training planners to not use the word smart growth. In fact, now they're supposed to use quality growth, and they're supposed to tell elected officials that, no, don't listen to those people talking about their concerns about regional planning and regional governance, because, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just conspiracy theorists.
Where did this come from originally?
Well, it depends on how far you want to go back with it. I mean, you could go back to the Fabian socialists in the 1800s, and, bring it all the way down to now. But really, 1992, President George H.W. Bush signed on to it, and then Clinton in 93 created the President's Council on Sustainable Development, and they commissioned a couple of books, the one I talked about, and also Sustainable America, a New Consensus. New consensus. That means that you are being indoctrinated and you are being propagandized, and it's about neutralization of the opposition. That is very important to know. That's the new consensus.
That's why I was hammered like I was.
That's
Again,
right.
Just isolate, make you into a freak. If you believe it, you're a freak. You're an oddball, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
How much trouble should the average person expect when they go to their local city council?
You know what? You got to be tough, and we are Americans. This is, freedom is a nonpartisan issue, and you need to be strong. You need to not be concerned that you're going to be laughed out. Because that is part of this, unfortunately, because this is such an important issue that it's a stealth plan in plain sight. So yes, you may hit some opposition.
Okay, so help me out. First of all, you can get this on Amazon, Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21. This is your book. This is all the facts and figures on it, everything that you would need to know, and where to go to find more original source information on it. This, of course, is my fiction book, and we wrote this to be something that you could get somebody who's like, oh, okay, what does that all mean when it's all tied together? As you said, when it's all tied together, it's a terrifying picture. When you look at them as individual, oh, it's a bike path. Oh, we're just having some open spaces. But when you tie it all together, it's terrifying. And the afterword, this last part, is all of the things that all of the sources and everything. So when your friend or you get to the end of the book, you have all of the hyperlinks and everything, so you can see exactly why we wrote it this way and why it looks that way, to be able to arm you. This is the scholarly way. This is the
It's
one for
fun,
your. I know, but I mean, this is really do them together. Do them together. This is one going to take you and take your friends in. This is the one that's going to arm you with everything that you need if you choose that this is something that you want to do. I believe that our country is really far gone, and a lot farther gone than we thought it was. And people don't care as much, or they don't believe as much, because the media has done such a horrible job, and the left has been spoon-feeding us lies for so long that it's a conspiracy theory.
I know, but on the other hand, you need to see that, of course, it kind of fits in with the liberal worldview, and because the media and education have been kind of pushing this as a save the planet kind of a thing, it's very difficult to break through that, that line of propaganda.
Right.
So, but we really have to recognize that all of us together are Americans.
Right,
So,
and I think that's why this is really winnable. If we don't go and shout people down at our city council meetings, if we find the people that we know in our neighborhoods and we say, Bill, listen, you don't understand. You haven't tied it all together yet. And if you have reasonable conversations, it's a lot easier to get to the people on the city council or your mayor or something, because you know them, than it is to get to Mayor Bloomberg. Never going to get to him.
Right.
Never going to get to him. And really, a lot of the stuff that he does here in New York, Agenda 21.
It's all of this everywhere is Agenda 21. It's the best thing to do is educate yourself so that you feel confident that you have the information, and then get the information out. We need to reach critical mass on the information here so that people recognize that this is impacting you. This is not out in the future. It's not some
right now.
fantasy. It is right now, and we can beat this, but we need to work together.
Yeah, okay, good. We're going to introduce you to some more people that are working together to stop Agenda 21. Back in a minute. Now, the individuals standing against the implementation of Agenda 21, many of them are part of the 912 Project. In fact, they are the ones that originally brought my attention to Agenda 21. Joining me now to talk about the warning signs of Agenda 21 in your community are 912 Project leaders, Mimi Steele, Thelma, say your name for me, Thelma. Taramina, she's from Houston, Texas, and Art Scivola, who is from Portland, Oregon, and you're from the Bay Area. What are you? How many people are in the 912 Project in San Francisco?
Well, probably generally about 1,000, but we've been really good at leveraging other organizations. So we work with Tea Party groups and other conservative groups, and we've gotten the word out and trained people about what's going on.
Last time I was in your town, I remember being at the Masonic Theater right downtown, and people walked into that room and they were like, I'm with friends. It was amazing. All right, so let's talk about Agenda 21 in specifics. Thelma, I want to start with you. Smart meters seem like a really good idea, and I think everybody at the table will agree that that's the key on Agenda 21. Everything's great. This is going to make things either easier or better or more sustainable. Smart meters.
Smart meters are actually surveillance devices that they are putting on our homes in Texas now. Texas is one of the lead states in this, and they even went to the White House and pitched what they were doing and how wonderful it was. What they're actually doing is not giving any consumers a choice in Texas. If they tell you you have to have a smart meter, you have to have a smart meter. We're fighting it. We have petitioned the PUC in Texas twice. They have denied us public hearings, and now we have an appeal that's in the courts to push for that public hearing because the information needs to get out to the majority of people that are in Texas.
Why? Because this is the part that people will say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Smart meters are a surveillance device.
Well, with smart meters, eventually the appliances are going to have chips in them that actually will talk to the smart meters.
Many of them already do.
Yeah, they're already manufacturing them. And one of the companies out of Texas actually bought a company that manufactures those chips. In addition to that, they can tell which appliances are running at any given time, even now without the chips. They can tell that. They can tell how many people are in the home at any given time by the appliances that are running. They have already started by letting individuals know to do their washing at night rather than during the day because they're using too much power. They've also notified people that their power usage is more than their neighbors, and they want to know why, and have told them, and it's on their bills, that they are monitoring that power usage every single month. And in addition to that, there are health concerns. There are health concerns with this. And Europe, some countries have already banned them because of the health concerns. And more, the information is coming out how all this wireless communication that we do have, because the Texas meters are wireless. They aren't hardwired. And it's a two-way communication. Hackers can get your information because it's pulsing every 15 minutes into the atmosphere.
And it lets you know also when people are home and when they're not home.
That's right.
Yeah.
And how many are in the house.
Okay, so I have a story from the Daily News, and this was, I think, about a year ago. Somebody trying to install a smart meter at your house.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Well, what actually happened, and I don't, here's the thing. I want everybody to understand that you don't chase installers off of your property with a gun. But what happened to me is I told the gentleman that I was not going to have a smart meter put on my home. He insisted that he was going to. And what actually happened was he assaulted me on my own property when I was standing in front of my meter. He shoved me out of the way 7 times. So I went to call the police, and then I thought, well, that's kind of crazy. I have my gun. I have a CHL license, so we'll just get him off with that.
You're in Texas.
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Do you have a smart meter on your house?
No, I do not.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm one of the few who do not.
Okay, so Art, I want to talk to you a little bit about sensitive lands. What is that?
Sensitive lands, which is really the polarizing application of ICLEI Agenda 21 in our area, that is about metropolitan government, unelected government, forcing down the throat of local communities requirements to have a mitigation, if you will, for riparian and for animal crossings and so forth and so on by dedicating
what the hell is
certain...
a riparian?
Well, right. Runoff, water runoff or stream beds that flow when the rain comes. And to be able to accommodate those things, they applied overlays to some 200 homeowners' private property in our town. And it became a very, very long, drawn-out, polarizing fight, and it's still there.
Okay, you could have been speaking French to me. I have no idea what you just told me they did.
If your property
Yeah.
has some form of which falls in these categories
I'm on a hill
of a tree grove, for
Okay.
example. You have a tree grove, or you have a stream bed running through your property. This particular application would take that property, and a portion of it would be forever dedicated to the protection of that particular zone.
Even if it's my property.
Even though it's your property, and without compensation.
So I have a farm that has trees on it right now.
Right.
And I have cattle around it,
Right.
but I have trees. They could just overlay without my knowledge and say, by the way, you can't do anything with that property.
Right, and that would subsequently reduce the value of your property, the marketability of your property, the ability that you might, as we found in some parts of our city, be able to even put a trampoline up for your children in that particular part of your... So they had the opportunity in our town, the leadership, to put those overlays on public properties, on properties that were, in other words, parks and areas that it wouldn't have disturbed any homeowner. They chose instead, and selectively chose, and it was very interesting how the map actually worked, but I won't go details with that, but they selectively chose 200 plus homes to do this in, and it caused a complete uproar within our city, and we were able to, this election, turn away the people that were the proponents and gain a majority mayorally and council-wide.
Mimi, tell me, they're planning, they have a 25-year plan in the Bay Area, and tell me about that.
It's called the One Bay Area Plan, or Plan Bay Area. And when I started the 912 group and decided I was going to go after Agenda 21 issues, I was looking for it. And all of a sudden I read about this plan, and it doesn't say Agenda 21 in the plan. It talks about sustainable community strategies. But it is, in fact, Agenda 21. And so it's a 25-year plan. What they're trying to do is, at a regional level, dictate to all of the 109 cities in the Bay Area exactly where they should put housing, what kind of transportation they should have. They're also dictating what mix of demographics you should have in your area. So they're coming to each city and they're saying you have to have...
How are you doing that? That sounds like, that sounds like Walt Disney's original Epcot, where you'd say, I need this color and I need this age to live here. How do you do that?
Yeah.
They're doing it, and they're doing it in Houston. Overlay just happened in Dickinson, Texas. They're doing it in Dallas. They've done it in Austin. It's been going on for years. When you have it going
in Texas, I understand the Bay Area, and I understand Portland, Oregon, but when it's happening in Texas, you got real problems.
It's everywhere.
Houston, Texas, and Austin, Texas are test cities. They've been involved in this for 20 years. It is really bad, really, really bad.
It is very, very smart to do it in places like Texas first.
Yeah.
Because you want to get it in there, and you want to get it in a way where you can just say, look, it's been around forever. None of that stuff has ever happened.
Well, that's how they try to sell it. But personal property rights are a nonpartisan issue, and this is what changes and goes into a collaboration.
And personal property rights over with Agenda 21.
Yeah. Private property, personal privacy, any kind of rights, all of your individual rights are completely under a threat with United Nations Agenda 21.
Anybody in the national level, I mean, it's quite remarkable that it's in the GOP platform. But who's the leader at the national level?
Well, we've seen some really interesting wins, and that is in the state of Alabama, the Senate Bill 477, which actually repudiates Agenda 21. It is a law, but see, because it's when cities and counties fight it, if it's not identified as Agenda 21, you have to do that work for them and identify it for them.
Okay, a lot of work to do. We'll have you guys back again. Thank you so much. Back in a minute.